In the headlines, the private sector once more challenged by the Prime Minister to invest in bottled water exports. Police officer Jefferson Drago says he is going to court alleging he was passed over for promotion to corporal within the police force. And former IMF economist Dr. Fontaine takes up a new assignment in South Sudan. I am Kenny Williams with the Channel 5 News. Details after this. First up, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says the floor is still open for private sector investments in the export of bottled water. He said he does not believe government should take on that mantle because, according to him, government should not be competing with the private sector.
The original intention of the water project was to get Duasco to partner with a firm, a group of investors. But that group of investors were not able to bring in or raise the required capital to get the project going. But we, the government, had spent significant sums of money doing all the necessary studies and to prepare the dossier for that investment. So that proposal is in fact available for review and so forth. But we're open to engaging either existing water companies or any new company on the issue of bottling water.
Meantime, the International Road Assessment Program, IRA, and Road Assessment Services Limited are working with the Ministry of Public Works and Ports to evaluate the safety of Dominica's highways or main road network, including the Loubier to Bagatelle Road. During the 6 to 9 month exercise, approximately 200 kilometers of road network will be surveyed using a specially equipped vehicle as part of the exercise. Upon completion, the consultant will forward a report including findings and recommendations to the government for consideration. IRAP is a UK-registered charity highly experienced in the field of inspecting high-risk roads and developing safer road investment plans. The organization is currently active in 70 countries. Their goal is a world free of high-risk roads. Their local effort was formally launched here on Tuesday.
In general, we have assessed 1 million kilometers around the world in all the continents, and we have also some self-governing programs. These are programs that are run in some particular countries, and they are the owners of the methodology, and they are governing their own programs. This is the case of the US, of EuroRAP, is our European Road Assessment Program, China RAP, AUSRAP, India. Now we are developing Brazil RAP as well. So this is a global program with, as I said, more than 1 million kilometers assessed so far, and it's growing every day.
One of the officials gave an explanation of how the equipment works.
We have several GPSs inside the vehicle, and what this information allowed to the coders later on is to assess the 60 attributes that Julio mentioned earlier related to road safety and where precisely the countermeasures will be required. That's why we need the coordinates. And the photographs will be analyzed in coordination with the form that Julio mentioned in his presentation that includes the 60 attributes related to road safety.
Following what has been described as a competitive bidding process, a consultant has already been selected to undertake the designs of the Loubier to Bagatelle Road. More top stories. The government of South Sudan is expected to benefit from the expertise of opposition senator and former IMF economist Dr. Fontaine. He is expected to take up the position of Senior Economic and Financial Policy Advisor for 1 year in the first instance. South Sudan is considered a fragile state due to internal conflicts which have hurt its economy. It is a landlocked country in northeastern Africa that obtained independence from Sudan on July 9, 2011.
It's a very interesting opportunity. The work involves basically coordinating the economic policy for that country, at least for the next year. What happened was there was a conflict in 2015. There was a civil war in 2015, and after the civil war, to end the civil war, a peace treaty was put in place to kind of quell the violence between the warring factions. and there is a transitional government now in place with a mandate to have elections in the next 2.5 years. So part of that expertise, or part of that assignment, is to help the transitional government to kind of forge a coherent economic policy that can guide them for that transition period.
Fontaine went through a series of about 4 interviews before obtaining the position.
This month will be the 19th, in just 19 years since I started as a fresh young economist at the fund, being the first Dominican to do so, and sadly since then no other Dominican has been engaged there. So it's a very momentous occasion for me. So what that means effectively, I bring to that experience or to that position some 20 years of experience working on fragile economies, working on economies. The unique challenge for me, though, is to, in a state of crisis, in a country where it is not really settled, because there is still ongoing conflict, mainly in the out regions of the country, not so much in the capital, but in the out regions. The real challenge is to be able to craft a credible policy that can have buy-in from all sides. And that to me is a very serious challenge, because it is one thing to work when everything is peaceful and there is no conflict, but it's a completely different situation to work in a situation of conflict. Because what has happened very often is that you'll find some of the key individuals, the key professionals would have left because of the conflict. And you have the question of whether or not the people within the ministries are up to speed and all that. So I have to kind of be ready to do a lot of technical assistance to the central bankers, to the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Economic Planning. So it poses a very unique challenge, but one which I think I'm well prepared for.
Dr. Fontaine says he does not expect the job to interfere with his role as an opposition senator, but is prepared to step down if needs be. Tourism service providers will get expert advice on reputation management from a TripAdvisor official at Saturday's National Tourism Trade Show. The venue for the event, which was normally held at Fort Shirley Cabrits, will be the State House compound. The cocktail will also be held separately from the trade show at a cost of $60, while entrance to the grounds will be $5 for adults and $2 for students. The Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association's newly appointed Executive Vice President Kevin Francis presented the agenda at the media launch of the event on Tuesday.
A highlight of NTTC 2017 will be the keynote address from TripAdvisor's Destination Marketing Manager, Carol Johnson, who will present on reputation management. The reputation management keynote will kick off the day at 11:45 a.m. at the State House conference rooms and will be followed by peer-to-peer seminars on marketing and the special low-interest facilities from the 8th Bank. Also, staying competitive in the tourism industry, presented by Mr. Joseph E. Daway.
27 trade show vendors in 6 product categories have registered and increased from last year's event.
This year, the trade show has received tremendous buy-in and support from the local businesses, communities, and premium artisan producers. These entities will operate tabletop exhibits within the trade show arena and an invaluable opportunity to represent their products, services, and promotions to the tourism industry leaders and private sector stakeholders in a format and environment conducive to professional networking and contract opportunities.
Coming up, government hands over keys to owners of Bath Estate apartments. Thanks for staying with us. Chairman of the Police Welfare Association, Constable Jefferson Drago, is legally challenging his non-appointment as a corporal within the Dominica Police Force. Drago told Channel 5 News he has instructed his lawyer to begin legal proceedings against the police chief on the matter.
I've been a police officer in excess of 20 years, service. I'm qualified. The competence, the skills, the experience, knowledge. I've been bypassed for officers that are much more junior to me. So I felt that I look at this as victimization.
Drago says the issue of police officers being bypassed for appointments is becoming a trend.
And it is creating a lot of division and disunity within the police force. So we are taking action. I, in particular, am taking action for the future of the police force.
Drago clarified that this is not a Police Welfare Association matter and he is not taking action in his capacity as the union's chairman.
We are not being assisted by the welfare. We are taking personal action. We are all going to meet our cost. Whoever wants to be the chief of police or the government, because we are paying our monies to do so. We are not depending on the welfare. It's not a welfare issue. It's a personal issue. Feel to yourself that you have the competence, you have the skills to be promoted. And personally, it's a less capable of it than you, much less capable than you, have been promoted. Much less service, in certain instances, 7 years service, 5 years service, they've been demoted and they have been here for 20 odd years. So it is up to you personally to take your own course of action.
In other news, the Dominica Public Service Union says its demand for a 15% increase has not changed as it prepares for a second Solidarity Rally on Thursday. The DPSU will host the activity amidst ongoing salary negotiations with government.
The union has not changed from its position. We are requesting a 15% salary increase, among other things. And what we are doing right now is to try to get our members to understand what we are doing. We will admit that we are very much satisfied with what we are seeing. If there is one time that we have felt very proud of public officers, is this time around. The DPSU is saying that we need more than praises for public officers. We have been hearing that for quite too long, that they are doing a fantastic job. We need to see things being done for them. And what do we want to see? Improvement in their working conditions and adequate compensation for the work that they are doing.
Leighton says there are other non-salary benefits public servants are looking forward to which government is yet to address.
People criticize our position. The government of Dominica has not made an offer to the DPSU. We have submitted our proposal to the government. What the government has told us is that they cannot pay a salary increase, but they have not made an offer. So when you tell us 000, that is not an offer. There are a lot of other things that we have proposed that you have not made any mention of.
On to court news, 2 individuals involved in an April 16 incident in Point Michel, Vernal Lafleur and Marcellus Raffol have been slapped with several charges. Neither Lafleur nor Raffol were arrested following the incident. Raffol was charged with malicious damage, intimidation with a stone, throwing missiles in public, intimidation with a cutlass, disorderly conduct, battery, and armed with an offensive weapon. His girlfriend, Vernal Lafleur, was charged with malicious damage, intimidation, wounding, and disorderly conduct. Both Lafleur and Raffol pleaded not guilty to the charges, and the matter was adjourned to August 28, 2017. Since there were no initial arrests, the issue of bail did not come into question. They are being represented by attorney-at-law Joshua Francis in the matter. And it's been well worth the wait. Residents of the Bath Estate Apartments had their keys handed to them at a ceremony Wednesday afternoon. Here's more on that.
Minister Skerritt says the handing over of 60 apartments at Bath Estate and Elmsall to needy people is in response to government listening to citizens.
Many of you have been subjected to rents. And I can say to you, every government's policy, which we have the opportunity to articulate, comes about by the government's direct interaction with the people whom it represents. And as the Prime Minister of this country, no issue is too insignificant, no issue is too small for me to pay attention to. And in speaking to single mothers in particular, single mother-held households, and when some 80% or 90% of somebody's entire wage or salary has to go into rent, it is absolutely difficult for these families to survive. So these apartments were really born out of the desire to addressing this serious challenge confronting many families across Dominica.
And his government provided a soft loan through its Export-Import Bank for the construction. Government also announced that 60 additional apartments are expected to be built in Roseau by August 2018.
That's news. Sports next. We begin with football, where the DFA Dominic Women's League continues with one match this weekend.
On Sunday, Maosuka Strikettes, who are on 7 points from 4 matches, will take on the winless West Coast Jaguars at the Benjamin Park from 4 p.m. A victory for Soka Strikettes will put them tied on 10 points with New Generation Sports Club at the top of the points table.
Meantime, in the National Bank of Dominica District Championships, we had North and Northeast as well as the South and Valley Central districts making it to the semi-final rounds of the competition following wins on Tuesday. In Zone A, the North finished on top with 9 points, followed by the Northeast 4, West 3, and East 1. In Zone B, the South took the lead with 5 points, with Valley Central trailing on 4, Southeast 3, and Southwest 2. The semi-finals of the 2017 NBD District Football Championships are carded for Friday, May 5 between the North and Valley Central in Game 1, followed by South versus Northeast in Game 2. Next up, Dominica Olympic Committee President Felix Wilson is encouraging national associations to make changes that will foster greater improvement of their administrative skills. He says it is important for the quality of associations' operations here to be of a higher standard.
There is a dearth of competence in persons who are managing national associations. There is an administrative course that is put forward by the IOC. We have done 3 of them in the past. In fact, I coordinated 3 of those administrative courses for national associations officers. Whenever it is called, you don't have presidents and secretaries coming forward. The leaders, you have other members of those things, members who probably are there transitory. Okay? So you cannot have a member who is not an officer coming for that training and disappears in a year or 2. How do you develop the administrative skills of a national association?
He says DOC is committed to assisting the local associations in that regard.
There are, I should say to you, scholarships. In fact, now for administration, there is the MEMOS program where an administrator can do a master's degree in sports management. We have had that for now years. Nobody has come forward. And what people preoccupy themselves with is money and power. That is the bottom line.
Sports continues with this item, where head of the Table Tennis Association on Island, Edgar Berridge, believes Saturday's Grand Prix is a strategic move for bigger things in the future. This weekend's competition is the second in a series of 4 targeted at selecting teams ahead of Dominica's first appearance at an international tournament in the under 11 and 13 categories in August.
Actually, we're trying to run 4 Grand Prix, Kenny, and one of the reasons for running the Grand Prix is actually getting our young players table tennis ready, game ready. Yeah. So on the 22nd to 29th of August, there is a Caribbean mini cadet in Jamaica. And I know Dominica would love to be represented out there. Never before that any team on the 11 and on the 14 from Dominica have ever been represented at the international tournament.
He says the previous Grand Prix was a success and hopes for nothing less in the upcoming one.
Last month we had a very, very good turnout. Never in any competition before we had 78 people taking part. And I can assure the Dominican public that this coming weekend is going to be much great. It's going to be great again. The kids are infused, they're excited, they love everything. I mean, they've been waiting for that all the while, Kenny. I mean, table tennis has been on a very good, on a go slow for almost 10 years, and now, I mean, these kids are just, give them table tennis to play, and that's what they want. Let them play, give them tournament, and that's...
Saturday's competition is set for Goodwill Primary at 10 in the morning. On the basketball scene, 2 exciting matches are lined up in the 2017 Flow DABA League on Thursday. At 7, 767 Sports Club will be hoping to hold their own against Kelvedare Hurricanes in the first match at Lindo Park. At 9, Digital Clouds will come up against LA Knights. On to fencing, Dominica Fencing Association will make history once more on the international stage by being the first English-speaking Caribbean team to take part in the qualifying tournament for the Central American and Caribbean Games carried for Puerto Rico from May 1, 2017. Team manager of the Dominican squad and Assistant Secretary-Treasurer of Dominica Fencing Association, Marlon Hillier, says Dominica's participation in the quadrennial event is big news for the local body.
This competition is a qualifying tournament for the Central America and Caribbean Games, which will be held next year in Colombia, which is a tournament that is held every 4 years. So it's very important for us. We are about to make history. We'll be the very first English-speaking Caribbean team in any competition in any form. Currently, there are 61 ranked teams around the world, and Dominica is about to become the 62nd team in the world. So for us, it's very important.
The Dominican team will be competing in the épée style of fencing in the single and the group stages.
For this trip, we have concentrated on épée and épée only. So we will have 4 fencers, including myself, entering the épée individual competition. And that will be held on May 1st. And then 4 days from that, we'll be entering the team competition, where we'll have 3 main competitors and 1 substitute. So we'll have a total of 4 team members on this trip.
For more on this historic feat, check out Channel 5's Iron Sports program this Thursday between 7 and 7:45 p.m. That's all the sporting highlights for now. Join us next time. We check in now with the Met Office for the latest weather update.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Annie Carreta Joseph. Weak unstable conditions continue to affect the Lesser Antilles today, resulting in partly cloudy to cloudy skies over the region. Visible satellite imagery showed some low-level clouds over the eastern portion of Dominica during the course of the afternoon, and this resulted in partly cloudy to cloudy skies. Radar image indicated some scattered showers mainly over the southern half of the Lesser Antilles. Conditions for tonight are expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies with some scattered showers. Sea conditions, moderate in open water with waves up to 7 feet. Taking a look at conditions for the next 3 days, mostly cloudy skies with some scattered showers can be expected throughout. Across the region, mostly cloudy skies with some scattered showers can be expected over the northern half of the region, while the southern half will experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers. On the international scene, cloudy skies in New York, partly cloudy skies in Miami, some rain in London, some thunderstorm activity can be expected in Caracas, and clear skies in Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:43 a.m. and set at 6:23 p.m. For up-to-date information, log on to our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for viewing and join us next time. Good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. The private sector once more challenged by the Prime Minister to invest in bottled water exports. Police officer Jefferson Drago says he is going to court alleging he was passed over for promotion to corporal within the police force, and former IMF economist Dr. Thomson Fontaine takes up a new assignment in South Sudan. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Kenny Williams. To our viewers around the world, thanks for watching. Join us tomorrow.